Before we get started, I want everybody to just think about the words we're supposed to remember: truth, fairness, goodwill, friendship, and beneficial to all. And let's, speaking of thanks, let's thank Marcel's kids. I'm gonna have to go home and take a nap after that. Well, let's just talk for a minute about the big news of the last few days. Now, I'm talking about that. It's ironic we served gumbo today because the LSU Bayou Bengal Tigers are in town for the college baseball regionals. They're defending NCAA College World Series champions. So they're going to be playing. They're playing right now at Washington Stadium. If you want an update, the Wofford Terriers are beating LSU 2-0. But LSU has a real colorful and interesting history. I hope Freddie Kiger's not here because he'd know the answer to this question. Does anybody know who the first, well, they call him superintendent, but the first president of LSU was?
William Tecumseh Sherman.
You're right. I knew that. Well, he became the superintendent in 1860.
Weird.
And then about a year later, he had to resign because his life came to a big change. He got a little busy with something else. But needless to say, those circumstances changed. And actually, he was always, from what I've read, very partial to LSU, even in later years. And then there was the legendary Huey P. Long in Louisiana.
Really?
The Kingfish.
Early vote often.
Yeah, vote early, vote often, and a lot of people voted in alphabetical order. He was a great supporter of LSU. He expanded LSU by several thousand students when he was president. He's a very interesting character. He was a great promoter of the LSU marching band. He wrote the LSU fight song that they still play today. He was trying to get him to build a bigger stadium, and he was having some opposition on that, so he decided he got a federal grant to build dormitories on the campus, and he incorporated the dormitories into the stadium. That's how he enlarged the stadium.
Smart man.
He tried to get the railroads to take students at a discounted rate to away football games, and the railroads kind of balked at that. So he said, that's fine. He just, he said, we'll charge you a tariff to drive across all the bridges in Louisiana. So after that, the students could ride the trains for $1. So last year, just about this time, Ann and I were in Baton Rouge, and we heard a lot of Huey Long stories. He built a new governor's mansion. He wanted to build a new governor's mansion. The legislature wouldn't appropriate the money. So in the middle of the night, he went out and got a bunch of prisoners out of the state penitentiary, and they tore down the existing governor's mansion. And it was written into the it was written in the Constitution that the state had to provide the governor with a residence. So he got the residence rebuilt, and he had it built in the model as a model to the White House, which was his ultimate goal. But on that tour, they took us to the LSU campus, and one of the attractions was for us to go see the LSU mascot, Mike the Tiger. He's got this beautiful area he lives in. He's got his own pond and waterfall and trees and all this kind of stuff. Only trouble was when we got there to see Mike, he was curled up under a tree taking a nap. So nobody poked that tiger. I'm Bob Ward. I'm your Sergeant at Arms today. So, do we have any visiting Rotarians here? Yes, sir.
I'm Holt Whiting from Southwest Durham Rotary. Glad to be here. I've been in the Rotary Club at Southwest for 30 years, and I'm sorry to say that this is my first visit to you all.
Well, come back again.
Well, don't make it your last one.
I also want to introduce a friend of mine, Brendan Griffin. Brendan lives in Chapel Hill with his wife and 2 children. He is was the CFO of Propella Therapeutics in Pittsburgh, and he's looking to get involved in the community.
Do we have any other guests? Okay, well, glad everybody's here. I'm proud to be one of the 55 past presidents of this club. And I'd like for all the other past presidents to please stand up. Let's give them applause. I think it's great that we have so many of the people who serve in leadership in this club to continue to be active. So it's great. Of course, being past president is the best job you can get in East Chapel Hill Rotary. And Mike Clayton, in a few weeks, will become the 56th past president, and he's looking forward to that job. And I'm sorry that Tim Smith is not here today. Oh, there he is. Tim will, of course, be our next president. That's the only way you can become a past president, Tim, is to serve as president. But Tim has had more on-the-job training as president than probably anybody ever in the history of this club. Because Mike Clayton's goal was to follow Mark Hunt's model as president and be absent as much as he could. So Tim, we appreciate all your on-the-job training. Great work you did. And then, of course, Tim will be followed by Felix and David. Where's Felix back there? And David Bedore. I don't believe David's here. They'll look forward to becoming past presidents too. So I'm going to tell a story. And some of you, I think, have heard this story. I may have told it here before, but it's been so long ago, most of you who heard it forgot. And there's new people here. But this goes back to sometime in the late 90s. And I know you all can look at my whippet-like svelte body up here and tell I was a runner in my younger days. Well, it was more like a jogger is what I was. But I'd run 2 or 3 miles a couple times a week. And then I ran in some 5Ks and, little stuff like that. But nothing serious. But back when my daughter Katie was, matter of fact, Katie's the reason I don't really run anymore, because I wore my knees out, moving her in and out of college dorms and apartment houses. But anyway, when she was a child kid, she was in the University Methodist Church Youth Choir, and they practiced on Sunday evenings. Mm-hmm. And so I would take her up there for choir practice, and while she was there, I would jog around the campus. And I would jog around Fetzer Field, a couple of laps around Fetzer Field, back on around by the hospital, Keenan Stadium, up by the bell tower, you know the route. And so I would do that just about every Sunday evening. Well, after Katie was in college, Ann had to go up there one night for a meeting. Unfortunately, it was in late July, and I decided that I would run my same old route. So I took off running, and I was running, did my laps around Fetzer Field, all up there, and got up to Keenan Stadium, and it was when they were doing the new addition on the western end of Keenan Stadium, not the Blue Zone end, the other end. And so the gate was open, so I ran in. I jogged around the field a couple times, checking out the new construction. Came back out that gate and was headed up the hill on the south side of the stadium. I got about halfway up that hill, and all of a sudden, I had to find a place because I was in desperate need. And bushes and trees were looking pretty good.
Whoa.
But I got up to the top of that hill, and luckily the gate was open to Keenan Stadium. So I shot it and I thought, maybe there's a bathroom. I went in there, I hit the first door, I came to it, it was locked, I couldn't get in. So I went across the way and there was another, it was actually a women's room. I went over there and I hit that door and it opened. And I went in and it was just, I was just ecstatic that I was able to get in there. Well, when I turned around to leave, the door to go out was locked.
Oh no.
And there were no handles on the inside of the door that I had gone in. And it was probably not, it was probably about 100 degrees in that bathroom. And I'd already run, miles. So before I got there, so sweat was just pouring off of me. Well, boy, I really started sweating then. I thought, I'm stuck in this bathroom. Here it is, late July. They may not find me till September. But I thought, I'm not going to die because there's water in here. So I jumped up on the counter, and there was the arm on the top of the door, you have. So I started messing with that. I thought maybe I can pull it open. So I pulled several times, but I couldn't get my hand back in there quick enough to pull it open. So now I'm in a real quandary. And there was a closet. So I thought, well, maybe there's something in that closet I can use. So I opened the closet, and it must have been divine intervention. Because right there at the entrance to that closet was a plumber's friend. So I took that plumber's friend, and I went over there and I stuck it under the faucet, got it wet. I got a handful of water and threw it on the back of that door. I took that plumber's friend and plunged it on that door, pulled on it. It came open enough for me to grab it. I pulled it open and I shot out of there. Well, I ran about 100 yards, and all of a sudden, I just started laughing hysterically. I mean, I'm sure there was adrenaline, relief, and all that. But also in my mind, I thought, somebody's going to go in that bathroom, and either that plumber's friend is still going to be stuck in the back of that door, or it's going to be laying down at the base of that door, and somebody's going to look at that and go, how in the hell did that do? So, there's a moral to this story.
Okay.
I'm sure you've always heard that when one door closes, another one opens. Well, that was not the case that evening in July. However, the moral might be, when a door closes behind you, with a little ingenuity and a little determination, and the help of a friend, even if it's a plumber's friend, you might get back through that door. Have a good weekend.
Bill's on Bob.
Oh, me.
Please chair back over there.
Well, Bob, we're sure glad you got out. And I know your family was too. And I'm sure the UNC Kaplan employees were wondering why that took place. Hello, everybody. Hope everybody have a good Memorial Day. Yeah. You do anything special? I went to Vegas, lost a little money, and we had a good time. Couple items of business. We are getting to the end of my calendar year. Please hold the applause going through. We've got a couple more meetings here, but our June 21st meeting, we're going to do something we've never done before that I know about in the Rotary. We're going to have just a kind of church social meeting. We're going to meet out at Mark Hunt's farm on June 21st. Same normal meeting time. We'll not have a speaker. We're just going to have food, fun, and fellowship. So everybody get that on your calendar. We're going to have more that'll be followed up in the bulletin coming up. Also, next Friday, we will not be able to park at the ballet school for the few of us that do park there because they're having a big event. But if you notice, we probably didn't fill the parking lot hardly up here today. So we'll remind you of that. Summertime, a lot of people are traveling. No speaker today. We all remember filling out the survey, I hope, that our membership director sent out to us. Well, today we're going to review the membership survey with our membership director, Linda. So I'm going to turn the program over to Linda now and thank her for doing this for us.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I think I just got a promotion. I didn't realize I was membership director.
That's what I have. Board of Directors.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so
No
much.
money, no extra money.
Damn, I was hoping to get a pay raise. Well, I am delighted to have the opportunity to share with you the results of our membership survey. Does anybody remember filling it out back in February? Oh, wonderful. Okay. So for those of you who filled it out, if you just raise your hands, and this was anonymous, by the way. We weren't keeping any information. Keep your hands up. Okay. Then how many of you filled it out more than once? Keep your hands up. Am I the only one who filled it out more than once? Okay, so truth be had, I did fill it out 3 times. However, I took 2 of my first times out of the total bucket of numbers. And the reason for doing that is, anyone who issues a survey or requests a survey, you've got to test it, right? So I had to be the beta test. So first of all, thank you everybody for taking the time. For those of you who did fill it out, I have the pleasure today to now share results with you. But before I do that, what I'd like to do is thank the members of my membership committee who worked in hand with me this year, and a couple of them have been working with me for the last 3 years. So I'd like to recognize Lyda Coleman, and Lyda's done just a superb job. She, working with Larry McCants actually last year, and you all might remember this, created our passport, so our membership passport that we use for onboarding new members. So thank you, Lyda. And then Jim Hebner. Jim was kind enough to join the membership committee this year, even though he was kind of an adjunct for me the past 2 prior years. And he's the guy who says, we have got to focus on diversity. And under 50, Linda, you need to focus on under 50s. And so Jim has kept us on the straight and narrow, which is wonderful. So thank you, Jim. And then Meg Ostrom, and Meg's not here today. She's in the process of driving up to Pennsylvania to meet with her 95-year-old mother. She's been on this journey for the past 3 years with me also, and in fact, I will be passing the baton to her. John Perry, and I didn't see John today, but John has just been that even-keeled member who's always pragmatic, always provides insights and thoughts in terms of things that maybe we should be considering. And then Erica, who helped actually reduce the average age. It was wonderful. And she also gave us those insights too. So I go, how about if we meet at this time? Well, you know, she's an executive businesswoman with 3 children. And I think that provides a level of appreciation that we all have, that, you know, we're all at different ages and stages of our lives, and we're a lot richer as a result of having such diversity. So Brandon, as the membership director, we would be delighted to have a conversation with you about joining East Chapel Hill Rotary Club.
I look forward to it.
So thank you to the members of my committee. So let's get into the details. So any good presentation has an executive summary. And so if there is no other chart that you need to remember, it's this one. And it's 3 sets of numbers. And no, it's not the combination to Brian Keeliff's wine cellar. I've already tried that, it didn't work. And it doesn't come close, the highest number here doesn't come close to the IQ of the members in this club. Now this might come close to some of the handicap scores for the golfers in the club, but you know, I'll let Cliff volunteer what that means to him. But let me ask you all what you think these numbers represent. Any takers? Karen?
Number of members under 50, number of members, oh, well, anyway, the idea.
So number of members under 50.
Under a certain age, number of members over 50, number of members over 70 or something like that.
No, no, and no. Anyone else willing to take the staff? Mike?
I think 10 is the average number of years someone's been a member.
Okay, 10, the average number of years someone's been a member? Yeah.
88 number of years.
88, the number of years. Okay, so let me share with you. 10 are the number of questions we had on the survey. Didn't want to make it too onerous, to the point, and I'll be getting into some details here. 112, those were the number of members in our club out of 154 who responded to the survey. That is fantastic. Give yourself a round of applause. Statistically speaking, most surveys only typically get, 12% or less, and this was basically 70%, so that was tremendous. Nice. And then 88 is actually the percentage of satisfaction of the members of our club. So this is pretty cool. So now you ask, what's the purpose of the survey? Why do we do it? Well, we wanted to understand the reasons for individuals joining as well as remaining in the club. Because as we know, we need to encourage and recruit younger and younger members in our club. We also want to ensure that we're providing that level of stickiness, that feeling of camaraderie. Why am I staying in the club? And what's my purpose? And then we needed to also understand what's important to everybody. So that's what we did. So thanks again for all of you who participated. Now let me get into some of the key findings and a little bit of details, and then I'll give you a little bit of a journey on some pictures that I had put together. So key findings, and really I view this as probably more a confirmation. And this is really the fellowship and engagement. Boy, there is high value. That's what members of our club really enjoy. And it's the range of activities that we do, like this lunch every Friday, as well as the service activities. It could be the sidebar conversations that we have when we run into each other, I don't know, at the local bar, the restaurant, or whatever, or just having dinner with each other and doing some fun things. One of the other key findings was, boy, I'd love to see more opportunities for new service projects. There are a lot of service projects that we participate in and we're involved in, but a number of members have expressed an interest in saying, can we open the aperture So as an example, Bob Ostrom, who's not here today, he's in Scotland enjoying a nice range of scotches that he's sampling. He said, what can we do like maybe with table? Is there something we can do to help our local community when it comes to food insecurities? So we're now talking to Table and Porch and see if we can explore some opportunities and present service projects in those venues. There was a good level of satisfaction with our club leadership. In fact, you'll see some numbers if you look at from people who say, hey, I'm very satisfied, or maybe, I don't know, am I satisfied or dissatisfied? I don't know. It's like over 90%. And I'll show you those numbers in a minute. Okay. But we definitely have areas for improvement. People want to be more engaged and have more social pop-ups. And Mike has been leading that effort, and I think next Wednesday we also have.
Check for your text.
Yeah, so he'll be sending out a text for a pop-up next Wednesday. And then greater diversity. This isn't just age, it's gender, it's race. So we know that we need to continue to do that. And in fact, it's actually rather reassuring that our two most recent members are young women, and the next member who's going to be inducted into the club next week, Randy Emmerman, is another woman. So well done, Jim Hefner, for getting 2 of those 3. And then the last is really member integration. We really need to do a better job of integrating our new members and making them feel a part of our Rotary family. I often figure it's often like when someone comes into your home, you want to welcome them, right? You want to make them feel comfortable, you want to engage them. So these are opportunities that we all have to then explore. So let's go into some of the details. So I'll just take you through this pretty quickly. So why you joined Rotary? Well, over 50% basically said fellowship is what's important to me. But what was really interesting is almost 30%, so 29% said it's service projects. And then the remaining 21% was networking. And I might propose to you that all of those are pretty much intertwined. And then when we asked what will keep you at Rotary, why will you remain at Rotary, it's really the fellowship opportunities and the service projects. Just getting into a little bit more summary. Rating your personal experience. So this is really those who said, I either agree or I strongly agree. Warmly welcomed at club meetings. Look at that number, 94%. This is kudos to our leadership with Mike and Tim and Felix. These are the guys who are welcoming with their smiling faces, pulling people in and getting people engaged. So well done. Keeping well informed about the club's activities. Almost 100%.
Whoa.
Now, you know what's going to be interesting? I'm going to show you a little bit of information a little later that might say, that's a contradiction here, because maybe we could improve our communications and awareness on things, but overall, everyone is incredibly positive in this space. And then service activities is basically 93%. Club leadership, this is really 92% if you look at the people who say, I neither agree nor disagree. So that's that summary. Then taking a look at strengths, and this is like, are these a major strength or a strength for the club? The overall commitment to service. We've highlighted that one. The quality of the speakers and the programs. So this is the work that Nick has been leading for us, and Jim in support of that. And then Jennifer Player will be picking up next year. Areas that were a little softer, our ability to raise funds for charitable giving. And some of the writing comments that we got, it's a little bit on, gee, why don't we have like a major fundraiser? or, gee, I'm getting a little tired of being asked for funds. So this might be an opportunity area for us to explore. And then the atmosphere of welcoming new members didn't get the highest rating either. So this is where we have opportunities. These aren't bad numbers at all, but they're opportunities for us to improve. So most enjoyable aspect. One of our questions was, what are the 3 most enjoyable aspects of the club? And this was the qualitative part of the survey, right? This is when we said, hey, please write in. And basically, this is what we've just been talking about, the quality of the programs, the fellowship, friendships, service, and community projects. Now, where were there opportunities for improvement? Because we also asked the question, what are 3 areas that you would like us to improve upon, or that you find least enjoyable? And if there was one that you'd like us to improve upon, what would that be? Social activities. And Mike is working on that. Interesting, there was a feeling that, boy, we fall back on our typical service projects. You know, it's always teacher supply store, SECU family house, litter pickup. Are there other areas that we can be focusing on? And I think that's where we're seeing newer members like Bob Ostrom coming in and saying, hey, can we do some things with table? Absolutely. And this is where I'd encourage all of you, if you've got ideas, you should bring them forward. Are we going to be able to do everything? Does everybody want to do everything? No. But maybe if we have more things to pick and choose, that's goodness. More diversity. These last 2 were kind of interesting. Resistance to change. And you might be able to say, hey, this is a little provocative, but this is, the comments on, gee, we don't elect our presidents. We're an autocracy, or maybe not a democracy. And so there's some feeling that maybe we could be considering other options in this area. And then also when we look at the Rotary Foundation, is there an opportunity to expand the use of funds? Especially as we see that grow in terms of the number of dollars we have. Can we use that to impact others? So those were the opportunities for upgrade. So then the recommendations that we made as a committee to our leadership was we need to focus on improving integration for new members, continue our focus on diversity, whether it's race, gender, sex. I guess gender and sex is...
It's okay, we know what you're saying.
Host more pop-ups, expand the range of service projects, and then lastly, maybe if we step back and looked at a strategy, because there are some things that we need to continue to improve on, right? When we think about the brand of our club, every touch that we have signals the kind of club that we are. And our website needs to continue to be updated. Communications across the board probably needs to be improved. So sitting back and reflecting, and if you have ideas and recommendations, feel free to let me know, or Mike, or anyone else on the board. And the bottom line is, hey, we're here to have fun. Sometimes we take ourselves a little too seriously. Other times we might press the envelope in other ways. But the reality is we are all very much like-minded in service above self, service of community. Do we all share the same point of view? Absolutely not. But we're probably richer as a result of that. So now let me just take you on a short journey of some pictures that I took over, the past year or so, that I think is just a fun way to celebrate the wonderful things that we do and continue to do. So our speakers, our program speakers and Sergeant-at-Arms, this might look familiar. We've had the former congressman from the great state of North Carolina speak to us. Corbin was our Sergeant-at-Arms last week. Bob gave us a wonderful Sergeant-at-Arms this week, and I gotta admit, when he was talking about running and needing to find a place to go to the restroom, and I leaned over to him when he sat down, I said, when I was running, I remember experiencing that too. So we've had some tremendous speakers, and you might remember, gosh, what was his name? King, last name King, for the great national parks. He talked about Roosevelt. In addition to that, we've had a number of our club members be speakers, whether it's our town manager, Chris Blue, whether it's our police chief, Celisa LaHue. This happens to be from Celisa's induction as police chief, not this past January, the January before, where several members of our club actually attended her induction as police chief. But Jody Magnus, we've had Freddie Kiger. What a rich set of speakers we have had. Brian Gilliam, my gosh, I had a whole new appreciation of music and how to interpret things from the two that I remember hearing from Brian. The SECU Family House. So these are some pictures that I took from the last SECU Family House. And Erica, I'll tell you, for those of you who haven't served at the SECU Family House, what a wonderful experience. Erica actually brings her kids with her, and her son Harrison, I think it was like 2 Thursdays ago, her desserts are to die for. SECU Family House, I'll ask you to focus on the picture on the right. And you'll see Joe Jenkins, who's not here today, and Saul Aronson, and then my husband, Brian. Well, here, these 3 guys trying to figure out how to get this dispenser to work for the knives and forks. And Joe and Saul are trying to figure this out. And Brian's kind of like, let the engineer handle it, physicians. Thank you very much. It was really quite entertaining. Teacher supply store. This is from 2022. And this is when we were still masking up a little bit. But what an incredible experience this is. And I know Tim has led the charge, and Mike before Tim in leading the charge here. But the teachers are always so appreciative. And I think on average, we donate about $45,000 worth of supplies for the teachers. And it's just transformational in their lives. Then we have our habitat bills. And here, we've got Alan Young. I swear he was, being a walking advertisement for Fitch Lumber.
Mac paid him big for that.
Absolutely. And another great example, so Moira Keeliff. So, the wonderful things with our service projects is we have spouses come and join us and participate in these. Then let's kind of shift gears on the green team. So this past year, Liz Hankey and Tom Shea have been leading our green team and have done some extraordinary things. I think our green team started, Brian, 4 years ago? Is that when Omar kind of kicked it off for us? Maybe 4.5 years ago? And so the things that we've done with the green team are the OWASA field trip. So Liz worked with OWASA, and there were a couple of times that we were able to go out. And this is how you see what really happens to all that shit. I mean, it was amazing.
It don't go uphill.
And they dry it out, and that is just a fascinating process. Then we've got our Talking Trash team. We adopted Estes Drive, and I'm proud to say that I'm the queen of talking trash. And this was from the fall of last year, and you'll see several of the members of our club here. In December, we actually had 4 of the interactors that Lorenzo is responsible for getting the interactors going at the East Chapel Hill Rotary Club, where there are over 65 kiddos who are committed to service as an interactor. And we had 4 of these young men and women join us. And it was really cool because Vince's daughter Annika also joined us that day, so that's Norman's daughter. Solar panels, habitat houses. Had it not been for Dr. Liz Henke and her commitment and focus on solar, there would not be 24 houses, habitat houses, that have solar panels installed on them. And at the same time, there have been plantings with habitat. And then Tom has led us doing plantings, whether it's with the library or other places around Chapel Hill in service to Chapel Hill. Tech recyclers. Remember this? This was introduced last year. Tom and Karen led this charge. And when we were over at the Sheridan, I don't know if everybody remembers, you know, there were a couple of those dollies where people would bring up their laptops and their PCs. Well, this year, there were over 120 households that drove their old tech devices. And I think, what, 2 dishwashers, Karen? Some extraordinary, or Tom? I mean, it was amazing. I wasn't there, but hopefully this picture captures everybody who participated in it. But these are some extraordinary things our club is doing in service of community. District 7710, of which we are a part of, last year, the Downtown Rotary Club of Durham extended an invitation to other Rotary clubs to come and do builds of beds through Sleep in Heavenly Peace, which is a nonprofit that builds beds for children who might not otherwise have beds to sleep on. And so Scott Lawson helped lead our charge in pulling us together and make this happen. So a lot of wonderful things going on. And then I'm just gonna close it with, we had a new member gathering on the back porch of my house, I guess it was on Wednesday. Had about 16 people. It was a lot of fun to just get to know people that we really hadn't had a chance to spend time with. Because sometimes these meetings, we come, talk to everybody at the table, and then head off. And then just having these gatherings, we felt we really need to start doing a little bit more there. So let me close. So the 4-way test. You've got to determine, can I tell the truth? Was I fair to everybody concerned? Does this build goodwill and friendship? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? I don't know, you tell me. Any questions, comments, feedback on the survey?
Good job.
Great job.
Fred, yes, sir.
Linda, I have a suggestion on the diversity. The club was nice enough to bring me in as I approached 92, so I requested you count me as 2 46-year-olds. I'm also part Native American and part Hispanic, so there's my contribution.
Man, and I bet you have a feminine side to you also, don't you?
No, very wise.
I wouldn't say any of my shipmates would say that.
Oh, God.
Operate ashore.
Fred, I love the way you think. Thank you very much. Karen.
Can you clarify, is this working now?
I don't hear it, but go ahead.
Okay. Can you clarify? Can you clarify? Turned it off. How is it working?
Would you like to come up and say something?
No, let's try this again. Can you clarify on making better use of foundation funds? Do you mean Rotary International Foundation or ECHR Foundation?
ECHR Foundation. Yeah, that was what a couple of the comments were written in. Any other questions? Vince, please.
Yeah, I have a question. How do the service projects that sort of come in, how do we go about bringing those things up? Is there a committee, or how does that all work?
I'm going to ask our president, Mike, to take that one.
Anybody that has anything that they want to present, please just email me or Tim or Felix, and we'll get it in front of the board. The board of directors that each president selects to help him or her through their term. We take these projects, we do a vote, and then we come back to the club and talk about it. So Vince, if you got an idea, we're ready to listen to it, buddy.
Well, I've got a project I've been doing for 3 or 4 years now, and I have a really good time doing it, and they need more people, so I think it's.
Put me
Let's talk
on
about
the
it.
email list and let us know about it, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. Anything else? I think I'm going to get the hook here. Okay, thanks everybody.
Wow, what a fantastic job. And it's good to know that we're kind of doing something okay. I just want to make a couple comments. On our ECH Rotary Foundation, we are obligated by bylaws that are written up and recorded. So we cannot really change how those funds are distributed and amount distributed. That is written into our bylaws. And as far as how we work as a club, David Badur, our incoming secretary, has volunteered to look at our bylaws, our club bylaws, and bring them into the 21st century. I think they've been last updated back in the 90s. So we are trying to address a lot of the issues that were areas of concern on the survey. As far as leadership, I cannot take any credit for anybody being satisfied with anything. I've got a great team of people that make me look pretty darn good. Yes, Dickie?
Let me make this clear. The foundation is governed by guide laws about how much it can distribute to the club on an annual basis. It's 5% of the average of the current year and the previous 3 years. Okay, we turn over that amount of money to the board, to the president. The foundation does not decide how that money is spent.
Right.
The club directors decide how that money is spent, whether it's what proportion the teacher supply or whatever. Not the foundation. The club president and his board decide that.
And the president and the vice president has to meet with the foundation board of directors and give an accounting for what we're going to spend that money on, and we're not supposed to deviate from that plan. And I think it's 6% now. No, it's still 5. Okay, but we are trying to do things. We're trying to listen to you folks.
Mike, I don't know what plan you're talking about. I just want to make this clear. We don't send that money to the club with a plan.
No, I have the plan. Yeah, it's me. It's the president. No, the foundation just approves what we're going to spend the money on, and we give them a report in accounting. Don't we give you a report?
Yes, but we don't approve it. It's your money.
Okay,
We want to know. We just want to be informed. That's all.
My mistake. I made one this year. Dang, y'all haven't seen it. We have a couple more minutes, and on the theme of kind of what we've been talking about today, I'm going to get Larry McCants, who's been a member of about 40 years of several different Rotary clubs, to just tell us why he has been in Rotary so long and kind of share a little bit of his memories. Okay, Larry, come on up and give me about 3 or 4 minutes of what. You told me 2. 2, okay, well, I'm stretching it out. Give me 2 minutes then, brother.
Thank you, President. Thank you, Ryan. I became a Rotarian because I didn't have a choice. My grandfather was a charter member of the Rotary Club in Goodland, Kansas. My father was a member of the Rotary Club in Goodland, Kansas. And when I moved back to Goodland, Kansas to become a banker, my dad told me when I was going to attend the Friday meeting. And I remember as a child going, because at that point in time we had a Bring Your Children to Rotary program at least once a year. They had the biggest cinnamon rolls. And that's probably I would like to. That was probably a good reason to become a Rotarian. But actually, I became a East Chapel Hill Rotarian because of the SECU house. I had cancer years ago, and I went down to Houston. And the Houston Rotary Club has the Rotary House at MD Anderson. which is a hotel.
Right.
And it is a phenomenal facility. It's operated by the Marriott, but you can get a room for about $100, and God knows what it is now, but in those days it was about $100. And I was there for about 10 days, and so my wife had a nice room there. But the Rotary Club actually had a meeting there, and so when you gave blood, and believe me, they like their blood there, you could go downstairs, give blood. Rotarians were there. It was just an incredible event. And when I saw the SECU house, I personally said, okay, this is a club for me. Because there I can give back to what I received. But actually, I'm a Rotarian for 41 years. I've been in 4 different Rotary clubs. Little Dillon, Kansas, about 50 members. Still have about 50 members. I got on the internet today when I was talking to Saul. And then I was in the downtown Denver club for a while, and then I moved to the Cherry Hills Rotary Club, just because it was smaller. Downtown Denver club was 300 people, and it was very easy to get lost in that mess. And I didn't find him nearly as welcoming. And then I joined the Colorado Springs Rotary Club, the downtown club, and went around to the smaller clubs. And the downtown Colorado Springs Club is almost the same size as this club, 150 members. Downtown orientation, very, very business heavy. The mayor's an honorary member. Politics. The programs are very similar, and I think our programs make the difference between a club, in my opinion. Now the projects, Colorado Springs had a big project. They had the Butterfly Project, which they commissioned and put together from stamping of the metal forms, but they were butterflies and dragonflies now, we've added to it, that are yard art, but they were made by artists. The artists had to bid to come in and present, and we selected the artists. And you saw these butterflies all over town, and they were particularly nice around golf courses. But they raised $250,000 a year through this program, and it's a gala. And so you don't want to miss it, because there's wine and beer there, you know. But no, Rotary's always meant a very special thing to me, and not only if you want to be a Rotarian and you want to get to know people, you become a Rotarian. You show up, you meet people, and this is a diverse group, especially when you're from Kansas and there's 50 white guys sitting there. I happened to be president in 1989, and you know what happened to Rotary in 1989? We admitted women. I was telling Saul, my neighbor quit Rotary because he didn't want it to be there. And this is a nice guy. I liked him. I respected him. And I thought, man, change. Some people just don't do well with change. But, you know, when I started Rotary, you had 3 requirements. Had to be a man, had to sing off key, and had to be able to clap. So that's the 3 requirements of the old Rotary. This club only has 1 requirement. You have to be able to clap, because we don't sing.
Thank God for that.
So anyhow, I love Rotary. It's been a part of my family. My wife was a Rotarian in Colorado Springs and Goodland, and on Fridays now she goes to see her mother. So that didn't work out. But anyhow, I love Rotary. I've been involved, and that's a way to get involved in your communities. So with that, there's 4 minutes.
Thank you.
Larry, we do sing every holiday, Christmas time. We do Christmas carols at our last meeting before the end of the year. Hey, everybody, thanks for coming out today. Remember, look for a pop-up message on your phones this coming week for Wednesday. We're gonna try to put a pop-up together at the Bruce Public House in Carver, the location of Old Hickory Tavern. We had a board meeting there the other month. It was a great location. Lots of good things to come. Everybody have a great weekend and go Eagles.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Larry. I appreciate you so much.
Well, I didn't want to make it.
No, it was gone.
Very good.
What'd you do?
That's all based on. Well, I don't know what for baseball. I'm sure it's like
They must have lights at that stadium.
Oh yeah.
They could play late if they need to.
Oh yeah,
but they don't.
I've been out there. It was a game about. You were here, but you probably didn't hear about. Or you probably heard. I don't know if you heard about it or not. We played Florida International in like 2010. And they went to extra innings and they stayed. We didn't leave that stadium again. 1:15. Oh my gosh. It's unbelievable. It went to extra innings. It's like 12-10.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
They got a good team. Hopefully they'll get it going.
We just took, people like Davidson beat us a couple of years ago.
Oh, really? Oh, jeez.
Yeah. This is like Davidson's
had good.
Davidson's team.
They got a lot of good teams.
Davidson's team that year actually. That was
boy, it's like
yeah, that's the only time they ever made it.
They had